Papa.
There's a creepy monster following them. Don't go with them.
Stop it, girls. Don't make up stories so I won't travel. You know I need to make this trip.
We're not making this up. There's a huge monster on the car and there's a big storm coming. There, look at the sky.
Mr. Carlos looked at the car. There was nothing there. The sky was also as clear as ever.
Enough of these games or I am going to be upset with you. You have to apologize to them for being rude.
You can see it too, right? Why can't Papa see it? We are sorry.
That's okay, girls. Your daddy will be back home by the weekend, his colleagues replied. Carlos was a great husband and a wonderful father to his kids. He always spent quality time with them. They were a Christian family with a healthy, godly relationship. One day, he received a call for a business trip to be held in a nearby town. His wife and kids were really sad about this. The next day, they saw him off to the car where his colleagues were waiting. And that was when the girls screamed at the horrible creature on top of the car. Mr. Carlos wouldn't listen to his daughters because he couldn't see anything, so rather he got pissed off at their constant nagging. The girls were so afraid and really sad. They didn't know how to stop their daddy from going on the trip. They described the monster to their mummy, but she was very confused. However, she held them close together, and they said a prayer of protection for daddy. Mr. Carlos and his colleagues drove off in the car. The driver was driving too fast. They needed to cross the river on time. 8 hours into the journey, the car started overheating. They pulled over by the highway. There was a lot of steam coming from the engine. They were ranting and cursing. What the F is this? Oh no, we're not gonna make it on time. As they were figuring out what to do, an old man walked up to them and said, "It's already late. Do not continue with this trip today. I have an inn where you can lay your head and rest, then you can set off tomorrow." They, however, didn't listen to the old man. One of them flagged down a taxi, and they all boarded the same taxi to their final destination. They got to the shore of the sea just in time. They were happy they made it. At that moment, Mr. Carlos had a funny feeling. He was having cold feet. He felt a burning need to cancel the trip. A voice kept speaking to him.
Don't go today. Go tomorrow.
He was battling within himself. He had no peace within. "Hey Carlos, come on, let's go. The boat is ready to sail," his colleagues called out, disrupting the waging battle within himself. He waved this voice and thoughts away and boarded the boat. It was a smooth boat sail. The sea was calm and there were clear skies above. They took pictures and selfies. It was a fun sail. It wasn't long after the waves started building and was moving the boat off course. It carried the boat to and fro through the rough waters. The sky was suddenly becoming dark. A big storm was looming. Mark Carlos and his colleagues held on tightly to the boat. The boat was slowly being filled with water. The end was inevitable. Soon they were all inside the water, struggling to stay afloat. A big wave swept towards and plunged them all deep into the sea. Mr. Carlos miraculously found his way to the top of the sea, and when he raised his head, he spotted a yellow gallon floating his way. The gallon kept him afloat as he drifted across the sea. He mourned for his dead colleagues. Then he thought of his family, his lovely wife, and his daughters. He wished he had listened to them. These stories are not AI generated. To enjoy more of these real stories, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Mr. Carlos was washed up at the shore of an abandoned island after floating for hours. He walked around the island and saw that he was alone. He sustained himself by eating fruits found on the trees in the island. After many days of waiting for rescue and none was in sight, he started losing hope that he would ever leave the island. He built a straw hut as a shelter from the sun and rain. Most nights he would cry and pray for the day he would reunite with his family again. One night, he slept off in the warm sand by the shore. He was awakened by the smell of burning linters. His straw hut was on fire. The wind must have blown some flame embers from the campfire to the straws of the hut. He tried putting out the fire, but the flames grew more fiery until the hut was burnt to a crisp. Mr. Carlos was devastated. It took him 2 months to gather that much straws to build this hut. Now, his makeshift home was gone, burnt flat to the ground. He felt God was cruel to him. He was angry with God for letting his hut burn down. Very early the next day, As he sat by the shore pondering on the next steps to take, he was startled by the sound of a ship which was just pulling over by the shore. He was so happy and amazed. He had never even sighted a ship throughout the many weeks he had been waiting. And all of a sudden, there was a ship right in front of him. When Mr. Carlos approached the captain of the ship, he asked him how he was able to locate him. The captain replied saying, "Last night, while on the ship, I saw the fire you made. This ship was on a different voyage. However, on seeing the fire, I assumed someone was out there and needed help. The most amazing fact is that this island isn't on the map. I have traveled these seas countless times and have never come across an island here before." When Mr. Carlos heard this, he burst out in tears. He begged God for forgiveness. God never abandoned him. God had been faithful and good to him at every point of his experience. God had warned him through his daughters. He tried to stop him by causing the vehicle to overheat. He sent the strange old man. He even spoke to him directly just before he boarded the boat, but he still didn't listen. Even at that, God still spared his life on the sea. He brought the gallon that kept him afloat. He created an island for him. He provided food for him, and he sent this ship to rescue him. Mr. Carlos was so grateful to God for his mercies. Have you ever experienced God's mercies before in your life, even after you disobeyed? Please let's know your story in the comments section. He was safely reunited with his family once again. How about you? Do you feel angry or disappointed with God for some reason? Have you ever sat to think about all the many wonderful things He has done for you? Always be thankful. He will never abandon you. You can be certain that everything is working out together for your good. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.